Mini quiche. We have got two parts to this. We are going to make a pastry, flour and butter, and then the filling is milk, egg and cheese, and then whatever other ingredients you want to use, about 2 or 3. I'm going to use some tomatoes, some capers, and here I've got some onions which are cooking on a really slow heat so they caramelize. Anything you can cook or prepare at home, please do. For example, onions or tomatoes, because this will save you a lot of time in the lesson. Any meat could already be chopped up. Most stuff doesn't have to be cooked, but if you're using something raw, then that needs to be cooked beforehand at home. So the base for our quiche is a simple short crust pastry. Add your flour to a bowl and then rub in your butter. And you want to rub this together until your mixture has a breadcrumb-like consistency. To see if you're done, give the bowl a little shake and all the small bits will fall to the bottom so the bigger ones end up on top. Okay, and it should look a little bit like this. Then you need cold water from a jug or from a bowl and add 1 tablespoon at a time. Mix this in until you can form a dough. You probably need about 1 or 2 tablespoons. Mix it with your palette knife. Then see if this comes together as one so you can form a dough. And you can see, even though it was really crumbly a couple of seconds ago, as I bring it all together, it actually sticks. And I can make my dough. And then you knead it lightly on your surface. If it's still really crumbly at this stage, back in the bowl, add another half a spoon of water to make it stick. After about a minute of kneading, you don't want to do this too long, otherwise your pastry can get very chewy, very tough. You're going to flatten it out. Lightly flour your surface so it doesn't stick. Bit of flour on the pastry, bit of flour on your rolling pin, and then you want to roll this out. Always roll from the middle to the edges until you get a 3mm thickness, which is probably a little thinner than you think. Right, we're going to take a bun tin, just add a tiny drop of oil to each so it doesn't stick. You can spread this with your finger and then use a circular cutter to cut out pastry circles. See that you keep them close together so you get as many in the first round as you can, and then you carefully lift them off the table. Now you can see this is about 3mm thickness. And they go, of course, in your tin, pressing gently in the middle so they fit properly. Get these off easier, just peel the pastry away in between your circles. So I can take all my leftover pastry, knead it a little bit more, and then roll it out so I can get 3 more shapes out. I won't be able to do this more than once, maximum twice, because you can see the pastry already doesn't want to stick together. For my filling, 75 milliliters of milk in a jug, and I'm going to crack an egg in there. Then you beat this lightly using a fork or a spoon till you have an even yellow color. Set it aside, and next you're going to put your fillings into your pastry bases. So So a little bit of cheese in each. Then some tomatoes. And then some capers. And the caramelized onions. A little bit more cheese on top. And then fill with your milk and egg mixture. Not quite to the top so they don't overflow in the oven. And then you can add a little bit of spices and herbs if you like. Oven should be preheated at 180 degrees. Bake for about 15 minutes. Right, and then we are ready when the pastry has gone brown on the edges, and you can see the cheese mixture has got a little bit brown on top. Take your tray of mini quiches out. Let them cool for a couple of minutes. And then you should be able to loosen them, scoop them out with a spoon, and put them on a plate or your container.